My name is Mallory Shemwell, and for my senior project, I performed multiple roles for two different productions that we did this semester. One was Lecture Hall Live, and the other was Not Another Radio Show. Arthur Chris Burt published an article in University Business Magazine in June 2020 that was spot on with its title, "Build It and They Will Come," quoting a line from the iconic movie Field of Dreams. Many universities have recognized the advantageous opportunities that lie within the world of esports, including student recruitment. The importance of having such a space for students like myself to gain experience using that equipment is vital. So each week, we actually converted a space into a production studio. And converting Stout Hall and the WUSM radio station into those production studios each week, that allowed students to practice setup and breakdown on a weekly basis. And once those were set up, the production studios also allowed each student the ability to rotate to different stations to learn and understand the functionality of each workstation. So for example, in Lecture Hall Live, once everything was set up, anyone interested in learning about the switcher had an opportunity to come by and practice pressing the buttons or practice the going through the menu. And same for the new jib that we got, the scissor jib. Once it was set up, students had the ability to come by and look at all the elements that were needed to put it physically together, and then to make sure it functions correctly with the gimbal that we attached. An article published in January of 2019 by Matt Zelznak in District Administration, a division of Professional Media Group, addressed concerns regarding high schools esports gaming students' mental health. Those concerns were quelled by research that determined that students who game in a supervised, controlled setting spent their time outside of class in different ways. Esports high school students reported spending more time on their academic work and more time with family members. This was due to their emotional need to game having been completed for the day. Class attendance rose along with the overall GPA of those students, reaching 1.5% above the school average. For these productions, students were given the opportunity to have more focused one-on-one practice on equipment that was either unfamiliar or more complex. This also showed faculty and staff which students were putting in time to learn outside of class. If Stout Hall were not available for students' almost unlimited use, the opportunity for engagement would have been missed. And so for Lecture Hall Live, students were able to enter Stout Hall between Wednesday and Saturday at their leisure, and were able to have a one-on-one practice with either another student or with Dr. Pliscoto himself, working on equipment that again was either unfamiliar or more complex. For Not Another Radio Show, we set up hours before going live, and we ran through the entire signal flow each week with all involved. And so at any point in time, if there were questions or issues that needed to be troubleshooted, we had the opportunity there to fix it. And if any students who came by wanted to see what we were doing, they had ample time to come in there and ask questions and see what we were doing. An investigation written by Dr. O from Bournemouth University explored the effects of the COVID-19 lockdown restrictions on the mental health of the general public, and more specifically those that previously used gaming as a means of connectivity to others, focusing on the Japanese game Pokemon Go. During lockdown, the developers emphasized the community aspect of the game, and many players continued their play because the Pokemon Go gaming community was still so active. This data is relevant in that the need for community is prevalent even in the online gaming community, in turn, the media community. In the media industry, isolation can be inherent in certain aspects, such as video editing. However, the branching of media and entertainment arts into esports allows an avenue for connectivity that might not be present during pandemic lockdown scenarios. And what these productions provided, each in their own, was a community for each crew. We formed GroupMe and WhatsApp message chains and text message chains for Not Another Radio Show. A weekly pre-show dinner was formed. We went out as a group before the show to have dinner and to talk and to throw ideas about. And after each episode, we held a production meeting of the whole crew, and we again threw ideas out, troubleshooted through some of the issues, addressed concerns that we had, and a community really formed around each production that I hope can be formed and continued through each phase of this, and I hope that these productions continue. So what these productions really showed was that we need space. This project pointed out that a lab or a studio that allows students to gain hands-on experience while in college and under the supervision of professionals in the industry can provide students with a skill set far above their graduating peers. While jobs and positions in esports and media sectors are growing, the requirement for experience along with education are hurdles that every graduate will face, but opportunities like Lecture Hall Live and Not Another Radio Show attempt to thwart that, providing weekly opportunities for growth and learning. The live series was and is currently being filmed in the MEA 200 and 300 class, led by Dr. Pliskota. This class filmed a live-to-tape pilot episode of the series during the fall 2020 semester. In the spring 2021 semester, the series has completed 5 episodes to date. The series has used the Blackmagic ATEM 4 Pro full live switcher, along with the safety, crane, slider, and shoulder-mounted cameras. For Not Another Radio Show, I performed the duties of technical director for Crystal Lewis's radio talk show series, Not Another Radio Show, that she hosted for her senior project. 6 episodes have been broadcast to date, with one more scheduled before the end of the spring 2020 semester. The broadcast is played over WUSM 88.5 radio and live streamed over Facebook Live to WUSM's Facebook page. Not Another Radio Show has used the Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro live switcher, along with 4 static cameras. The cameras are located in the 3rd floor of College Hall, 3 inside the radio station focused on Crystal and the guests, and then 1 in the recording studio down the hall. For each production, I took production notes. And as you can see in my production notes, it stated when crew call was. I started to list who was present, and that faded off throughout the semester. But I did continue a breakdown of our time spent, how much time was spent setting up, and then how much time was actually filming, and then again how much time was breaking down. And then I set up when our next crew call was, so there wasn't any confusion for future dates of when and where we were supposed to be. And then there was a section for each station on any notes that were given either during practice or production, so that the following week we could review and either address those issues or resolve those issues. For Not Another Radio Show, after each broadcast, we sat and had a production meeting with all crew, And again, we went through the same format for Lecture Hall Live and addressed any issues that came up and made notes so that the next week when we broadcast, we could address or resolve those issues. So the Lecture Hall Live series and Not Another Radio Show series has provided me with knowledge of equipment organization and storage, equipment setup, signal flow, and troubleshooting. This information has and will continue to help other students once working in the media and entertainment industries. Because my ideal work environment is in the broadcast industry, this knowledge will be invaluable to helping me gain employment after graduation. And I'm happy to say that I have successfully gained employment in broadcast since the start of this project. I accepted a position as Master Control Operator for WAPT TV in Jackson. And gaining this position would not have been possible without the knowledge and skill set I learned during my time as Technical Director for Lecture Hall Live and Not Another Radio Show.